Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So first of all, I would like to thank each one of you, right, for giving me such love for the past video where I discussed about mainly about freedom, progress, in terms of how we can bring the ethical part and the morality part and then bring peace to the world. So thank you very much, appreciate it. I would also like to request you that if you're liking the videos, please do subscribe, share and like as well, right? Because that is also needed. So today also I'll take some more time for each one of us to understand what does a shared standard of justice, which typically means universal test for political peace, right? So this is another article which I had written to again I sent to various newspapers and to various columns, but not sure, hoping that they will publish it. But my main motive is for us, right? Because if you see in today's world, it's a very volatile world, right? And people are actually at their throat, assuming still that this is one human race. So through my videos, I'm trying to bring a perspective in whatever capacity and limited capacity I have to actually bring those things out in the society and slowly build that narrative so that we as a society can actually come for the common purpose of a shared aspects, right? So the second thing which I emphasized which I wrote was that how can we establish a shared standard of justice, which means that it will be a universal test for political peace, right? So to give you a perspective about it, if we examine in today's world, right, the political system worldwide today, there's one misconception which is becoming increasingly evident. What is that, right? It is a common belief that peace can only be expounded or engineered through systems alone. What do I mean by that? When I say systems alone, what do I mean by that? So we have various countries have different constitutions. We also have constitutions, governance models, institutions built for that particular purpose, right? Then why do we still have instability? Now, for the better good and for changing needs, the constitutions of different countries or the legislations are amended. New governance models are taken care of or built or debated, right? And more systemic institutions are also being brought up. But yet we see a lot of chaos. So by this, it is quite evident that politics or political system collapses or degrades the moment the justice is not served universally, right? So what I did was I brought that into three different aspects because I'm correlating this with the political piece, right? So now if you see, politics should not be only looked at from the different ideologies. Means I might have one ideology, you might have an ideology, right? So it should not be looked at from ideology's perspective only. Rather, my point or our point is that it must be from the moral exercise also as a top layer, right? Now, peace through political systems will never emerge automatically. Never. If you read history, even from the king's side or monarchies, dictatorship and democracies, right? Peace coming from mere political system will never emerge automatically. Either it be a democracy, monarchy, dictatorship, communism or any other form of system, right? So now what I am trying to establish my arguments is that it is often debated that which political system in the world is good or bad, right? So whether the political system is democracy, communism, dictatorship or anything else, what I am trying to propose here, right, with my obviously faith-centered aspects and those things, whichever political system is established, whether it is able to do two different aspects. One is whether this political system is able to deliver absolute justice, one thing, accountability and consultation. If these three aspects are there, the system will automatically bring those laws which will automatically be beneficial to the public. So be democracy, communism or anything. Now if you see different systems, why democracy looks better is because it tells about that we have absolute justice, accountability and consultation. But that is why it looks good. But however, in real terms, if we see, now it is for us to assess independently that whether these systems are actually delivering these things or not. It is there, right? And why do I say this? One of the prime reason for this is, if you look into this today's aspect, is that whichever nation it is, not only one nation, whichever nation it is, mere having a majority rule does not by itself guarantee fairness if not checked with ethics. Now this is very important thing which we need to understand, right? And I'm just trying to establish that particular thing in your mind. Think about it. Every country, mere majority rule, even if democracy is there, does not by itself guarantee fairness if that is not checked with ethics. Now why do I say this? The point here is that to have sustained political peace, one should not just rely on numbers. Rather, the measure of justice should be applied, right? I'll elaborate this point in the next point, which is about consultation. The next point is consultation, right? Now, what do you mean by consultation? Now, when we mean by that is that whichever system it is, say democracy, we have majority rule, they are bringing laws, but the measure should be justice to across sections of the society. Whichever sections, vulnerable, higher class, lower class, elite class, whichever might be, right? And we should treat authority as trust. Now, I know this looks utopia, but if only we debate these things in the social circle, then only these things will go up as a society, and society will think much more from the broader perspective, right? That's my whole point. So, authority should be treated as trust and not the divine entitlement. And the decisions made by authorities in power, if imposed without consultation, would actually or gradually erode social cohesion, right? So for example, I take a decision as an authority without a proper consultations through different forums. If I do this, it will gradually erode my social cohesion within the society. If that policy or if that aspect is not legally justified, right? So here I would have liked to emphasize another important point in today's contemporary issues, which is that there should be absolute rejection of religious clerical dominance in governance. And we have ample examples across the world, right, where the fusion of unchecked religious authority with political power in the political governance actually create chaos. You look any other country which tells about it's a religious country because of the clerical dominance, and that is where religious figures actually becomes politically unaccountable. It is a very important point, right? And that's why I try to draw the parallel analogy from the political piece, right? The religious figures, when they become involved in the religious governance, they become politically unaccountable, right? Because you get so much involved, and because of that, the justice gets subordinate to control, right? Because in a country there are different people of different faiths, religion, aspects, culture, atheist who does not believe anything, right? Now, hence, we all must, right? That's why I try to record these videos. We all must seek that religion should provide ethical and moral guidance. Absolutely, whichever religion you follow, it should provide ethical and moral guidance. However, it should not bring the legislation of the country under its control, right? And the political administration should be independent, right? Which should demand debates, different point of views, consultation, seeking thoughts, data, growth for betterment of its own people. And we have ample, if you read history also, and in today's world, in contemporary issues, whichever country you see across, where there is interference of the religious clerical dominance, it is bound to get affected because of the accountability factor. They rise above the thing. So what bottom line is I'm trying to focus is that whichever political system, consultation, absolute justice, and freedom will not be able to survive, right, if it's under the coercion of drawing boundary. And while governments must regulate public order, right? So it's a government's prerogative that they must regulate public order. However, the governments must not claim ownership over someone's conscience And that's the reason we have examples across the world where this is interfered with. So this is a very important point which we have to take into consideration. Obviously it is a lot more clearer, but people don't actually think on these things, right? Now the last point, and last but not the least, what I'm trying to focus here is that one rule of justice for all, right? So if we look around the world now, if you see contemporary issues, and not only me, everyone is talking about all these United Nations, world order, they're getting crumbled, right? In the international relations, countries advocate that, okay, global politics, that absolute justice and equality we follow, but if you see, routinely it gets violated. And we're seeing across now different aspects. Everyone is saying that world order is at stake, institutions, UN, all those things are not being adhered to, right? Hence, the instability deepens when justice is selectively served and ignored in others, which bring us to the main criteria of this theme, which I'm trying to focus here, right? On sustainable peace and shared justice. Therefore, my last thoughts is that much of the world's problem are not just ideological. So people normally think and then believe, okay, ideology, different religion, different custom, but no, it's not. If you go a little deeper, it's not just ideological. Rather, it's more on the degradation of the absolute justice. Ultimately, results in open conflicts within and across nations. So the bottom line, what I'm trying to hear is that peace cannot be sustained through force or domination. In similar fashion as to faith cannot survive under coercion. So if I deliberately by force make someone change it, it will not survive, right? So similar fashion, political orders which are imposed without justice as a front end actually breeds resistance and instability. So what I'm trying to actually propose here to all of you who are seeing my video, right? And please do share, like, subscribe, and make it that whichever political systems, whichever follows, right? Everyone should take corrective actions to create a just world order. And why do we require this? Because without that, there cannot be progress. There cannot be, as a human race, we cannot proceed. There'll be conflicts, chaos, social cohesion, harmony will not be there, right? So it's a win-win situation for a human race to go like this, for a world order. However, at the same time, I do understand the practical problems. It's not a utopia. Rather, it's more about restraining oneself. And as a human race, we have to restrain oneself for the better good of the people, either within the country or across. And this is the ethical reflection of all the people. So it should not be meant. So what I'm trying to focus is not privilege one over the other. Rather, to remind ourselves that for sustainable peace, justice is paramount, consultation is paramount. Political administration should be separated from the religion, right? And whichever system it follows, it has to be seeking a more just and stable political across the world. So these were some of the thoughts which I thought maybe it is very relevant in today's model. If you do like this, please like, subscribe, share, and put your comments on what your thoughts are. Thank you very much, and I'll post similar videos in the upcoming sessions. Have a great day. Bye-bye.